2019 question is, consider the following statements. Agriculture soils release nitrogen oxides into the environment. Cattle release ammonia into the environment. Poultry industry releases reactive nitrogen compounds into the environment. Which of the following statements are correct? Okay. So again, when it comes to agricultural soils which are fed with fertilizers, the fertilizers which primarily have nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium in it, what happens is they tend to start reacting with other compounds, that is your oxygen, carbon dioxide, etc. And what happens is they do release nitrogen oxides into the environment. So statement 1 is correct. Cattle, not only cattle, any kind of living organisms by their mere process of excretion will give out ammonia into the soil. Okay, so by the process of excretion, ammonia is released into the soil. Now, poultry industry releases reactive nitrogen compounds into the environment. Again, the same thing over here. What happens is the poultry industry is heavily dependent on the kind of feed and kind of fodder and things that is given to the poultry. So, what happens is the poultry, the food that is being given, in the process of digestion and in the process of rumination of the poultry, that also releases nitrogen active compounds. And the compounds as it is, because in a lot of areas where you are rearing poultry, surrounded in those areas, what happens is you do have certain agricultural areas where they are trying to get some waste material that can be eaten by the poultry. So in both of those aspects, because it's a large industry that is there, in that aspect also what is released? Reactive nitrogen compounds. So the answer to this question is D, 1, 2 and 3. The next question is a 2019 question. The 2019 question reads as, in the context of which of the following do some scientists suggest the use of cirrus cloud thinning technique and the injection of sulfate aerosol into stratosphere? The options are creating artificial rains in some region, reducing the frequency and intensity of tropical cyclones, reducing the adverse effects of solar wind on the earth, reducing the global warming. See, when this question was asked in 2019, a lot of students got confused between A and D. Now, in some areas, they are creating artificial rains, but at that process, what they are trying to do is incorporate certain particles like your silver iodide. Okay. And when you incorporate certain particles like the silver iodide, what happens is in those areas, whatever is the particles that are going up, they consider this silver iodide as a small microscopic nuclei and they get attached to this, thereby causing the formation of clouds and thereby causing your artificial rain. Okay. But this question is not about silver iodide. The question is about cirrus cloud thinning and injection of sulfate aerosol. In both of these techniques that they have mentioned, when you inject these into your atmosphere, what is happening is here, whatever is the rays that are coming from the sun, instead of it coming and landing onto the earth, it gets reflected from there itself. That is what the sulfate aerosol and the cirrus cloud thinning technique will actually help in. So here, what is happening is it does not allow it to come to the earth, and once it comes to the earth, it will cause global warming. So here, these techniques are primarily used to reduce global warming. The answer to this question is D. Okay, reducing the global warming. Next question is a 2019 question. The question reads as, in the context of which one of the following are the terms pyrolysis and plasma gasification mentioned? Extraction of rare earth minerals, natural gas extraction techniques, hydrogen fuel based automobiles, waste to energy techniques. The answer to this question is D, waste to energy techniques. Basically, pyrolysis and plasma gasification means that you are taking the organic matter and you're burning it in such controlled atmosphere, so much so that any kind of, and these are the techniques for it, pyrolysis, plasma gasification, etc. So much so that anything that comes out of this, if it's a gaseous particles, you have some very less polluting, non-polluting gases like your syngas, etc. that comes out of it. So it's a very controlled burning of your organic matter. See, normally organic matter is polluting in nature because organic matter gets burned with the presence of oxygen. When oxygen is there, what happens is you have your sulfur in the organic matter combining, making sulfur dioxide, nitrogen in the organic matter making nitrogen dioxide. So what happens is all of these particles enter into the atmosphere also. But here, if you are burning in very controlled atmosphere, not giving excess of oxygen, in fact, in some techniques, they don't have oxygen itself. We are basically increasing the heat and then trying to burn it. So what happens is, you don't have the oxygen compound. When the oxygen compound is there, it will not give out unwanted pollutants also. So waste to energy techniques is the answer to this question. Option D. Next is a 2019 question. The question reads as, why is there a great concern about the microbeads that are released into the environment? If you remember, some time ago, a lot of our cosmetics, our face wash and face creams and all had these small, very rough kind of particles in it. And when we face scrubs, for example, so when you use it on your face, it's like that small particle is trying to clean off the dirt from your face. So those particles were called as microbeads. And very soon after, I think for 2-3 years it was there, and then there was a lot of concern, and then they stopped using it in these products. What was the reason? Why? Because when these microbeads, which are actually made from different kinds of plastic base compounds that are there, when they enter into the environment, what happens is it is easily eaten up by your organisms, your animals, your smaller organisms, etc. Because it's got a base of plastic, what happens, it doesn't get degraded in their bodies also. So when you look at all the options, they're considered harmful to marine ecosystems. They are considered to cause skin cancer in children. They are small enough to be absorbed by crop plants in irrigated fields. They are often found to be used as food adulterates. The major concern about microbeads was this, that they are considered harmful for marine ecosystems. The answer to this question is A. Now you must be wondering, why not C? So now again, when it comes to your microbeads, it was primarily not something that was there in your agricultural area. Even if it was there, microbeads could not enter into the pores that were there by your in the roots and your stems, etc. That is why option C is not valid over here. But when it comes to normal ingestion of any kind of food or anything, it can easily enter into the digestive tract. Got it? That is why option A is correct and option C is not correct. Okay. The answer to this question is A. Next, we come to a 2019 question. The question reads as, consider the following: carbon monoxide, methane, ozone, sulfur dioxide. Which of the above are released into the atmosphere due to the burning of crop or biomass residue? As discussed previously, when you burn crop or any kind of biomass, it's basically like asking, if we burnt, what all are there in us? There's carbon in us, there is hydrogen in us, there is nitrogen, sulfur, there's so many both macro and micro elements in us, right? So now when you burn something like that, what would happen? What all can get released? Carbon monoxide can get released, methane, ozone. What ozone? Again, I'm saying it is tropospheric ozone. Okay, the one in the stratosphere is actually good for us. The troposphere one is the one that is quite harmful for us. So, tropospheric ozone and finally sulfur dioxide. So, all four can get released into the atmosphere. 1, 2, 3 and 4.